This video is going to be a summary of the last 6 months of research that I have done for using ChatGPT for SEO. Let's get into it. The first thing I want to talk about is that a lot of people don't know why ChatGPT is such a game changer. Well, it's really a question of time versus money. This is the old age question that we all have to ask ourselves. Would you rather spend your time doing something, or would you rather spend your money doing something? Obviously, if you are a business owner, then normally what you do is you spend your money. But if you're working on like a side project or something like that, then you normally give your time. But what if you could save both? That is why ChatGPT is such a game changer, because it saves you both time and money. This is why it's so important. Before ChatGPT, you would have to pay something like minimum, we're talking minimum, $50 for an article. So all those people complaining about paying $29 an article for GPT content, just understand the context of that. Before, 2 years ago, even a year and a half ago, the minimum you would expect to pay is $50 for 1,500, 2,000 words. And if you paid less than that, the content will have just been bad. But now what you can do is you can actually rank on Google using ChatGPT content. And in this video, I'm going to give you everything you need to accomplish that. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is probably the most confusing part of all of this, which is that there are actually two ChatGPTs, which might sound a little bit strange to some people, but there is the ChatGPT UI, which you are seeing right now, and this, or let's focus on this first, or there is the Playground. I personally use the Playground. I find it gives me more control over the content output. However, I am lucky because I have access to GPT-4, whereas a lot of people only have access to GPT 3.5. If you are watching this video and you don't know whether you should be using the Playground with 3.5 or the UI with GPT-4, I would advise you to probably be using GPT-4 inside the UI. You can get 2 or 3 articles every 4 hours, even with the limit that ChatGPT has in place. Now, there's 2 versions of ChatGPT, so there's these 2, but there's also 2 models. I just touched on this now, but there's 3.5, which is much faster than GPT-4, and there's GPT-4, which is much better. GPT-4 also has Browse with Bing and plugins. We're not going to be covering those in this video today, but just so you know, if you want to use ChatGPT Premium, which is ChatGPT 4, you need to pay $19.99 per month. It's definitely worth it, but you can produce content more cheaply than that using the API. The main difference between these 2 models is speed, but also ChatGPT 3.5, it often doesn't fully understand what you are asking it, purely because it just has less information to work with in the first place. However, using the prompt that I'm going to show you exactly how to build in this video, it will work fine with 3.5. Okay, you may have to tweak it a little bit, you may have to beg it to use internal links, etc., etc. But generally speaking, it should work fairly well. So that's the models and the 2 versions of ChatGPT, but something that's even more important than the models themselves is whether you are using good input or bad input. Input, also known as prompting, is the most important part of producing good, rankable SEO content. Let me show you what I mean. If I just ask 3.5, write an article about classic menswear in 2023. It's just going to make a load of stuff up, and it doesn't have any formatting, etc., etc. Will this content rank on Google? if you just copied and pasted it like this, it will not rank on Google. If you decided to add H2 headings, etc., there is a chance that you could rank on Google, but you don't want to waste your time writing a lot of content that's just simply not going to rank. So that was an example of a terrible prompt. Let me give you an example of a good prompt and a experimental prompt that I'm working on. Let me show you the prompt that I know for a fact works now. You can find this in the description, and this is my current best prompt. Let's just go through it, and I'm going to explain everything here and how you can make your own. So rewrite this title, use the headings and subheadings, but use different words. This will make sense in a moment. Do not use the brands from the outline. Use my brands from the XML internal links. Once you've used an internal link, do not use that link again. Write with a huge degree of creativity and burstiness. Try to include keywords as much as possible. Include all of the following HTML formatting at least once. To the person who flamed me for using HTML and Markdown in the same prompt, it does not make a difference. So yeah, thanks for that. I don't care if it gives me the content in HTML or Markdown. It's the same for me. But basically what I do here, I just give it all of the different samples of Markdown. So there's H1, H2, ordered lists and unordered lists, block quotes, bold, italics, etc., etc. What this does is it gives more formatting to the article, which makes it more rankable already. This is a really, really good way to ensure that you have a lot of beautiful formatting. And then under that, it says, firstly, write an introduction with one paragraph. Notice that I'm not using words, I'm using paragraphs. If you don't know, ChatGPT understands paragraphs much better than it understands words. And an unordered list summarizing the entire article. This is a really good way to help you get longer time on page, which will overall help you rank. Secondly, write the first half of the main part of the content, write at least 5 paragraphs. Thirdly, write the second half of the main part of the content, write at least 3 paragraphs. Finally, write the conclusion and include some links to other similar blogs at the bottom, write 1 paragraph. So this is the structure of the article. However, where do I get all of this information from? Where do I get this outline? Where do I get the keywords, etc., etc.? So I'm going to show you now my exact keyword process. This is probably the most important part of this process. That is why I like to use Google Ads Keyword Planner, because it's the tool that I trust the most. When I'm here, I just type in broad terms related to the niche. You can be more specific, like I can write classic menswear, for example, or you can be broad and just write men's clothing, men's attire, men's outfits, men's fashion, etc. And then you just want to hit enter. You can add any of these if you want, if any of these fit for you. And then what I like to do is I like to do 3-month change, and I skip through the infinite ones, and we're just going to go down to the high percent increases. So something like early 2000 fashion men's, this is something that's probably going to pop off at some point. It's an interesting keyword. But yeah, you just want to scroll. You want to look for something that has a huge amount of searches. Let's just take this as an example, graduate outfits for men. I want to try and keep this free as much as possible, so I don't want to use paid methods. So what the first thing you want to do is you want to search that on Google. You want to find one of your competitors that you know consistently has articles on the SERP, the search engine result page. GQ is obviously here. They are one of my biggest competitors. Every single keyword I search, they are already there. I swear they use the same keyword method that I use, which is kind of frustrating, to be honest with you. But it's almost like I can't beat them because they're just so strong. I swear they use the same keyword method that I use. Anyway, from here, we're going to be using Harper AI. I heard that they have to make some changes, so I don't know if this is going to work. But basically what you want to do is you want to say, give me a summary give me an outline from this article to be used in my own article, and list the keywords from this article. Something like that, something of words to those effects. You just basically want to get an outline, which we can see right here. This is kind of a long outline, but we'll work with this. What you want to do is, yes, you want to give it this outline, but you want to make sure that it's not just going to talk about brands that you don't have. So the way that we do that is within the prompt. So in the description, you will find new prompt, which is a Google document. You want to go to File, make a copy, and then make a copy. This will allow you to edit the Google document because this is now your copy of the document. I actually liked it better before the outline that it gave me. However, we are going to be working with whatever we get live here. So we're going to do Control-Shift-V to paste without formatting. And then we're going to remove these. Actually, no, we'll keep these keywords. Once you've got the outline of the article, then again, for free, I'm trying to keep everything as free as possible in this video. You want to search for the keyword that you found before. This time you want to put it by average monthly searches. Click here, and then you want to just copy them here. And yeah, we'll highlight these keywords like this, and we'll just do Control-V again. And then the internal links, you will have to find your own internal links. The way that I personally do this is I just go to my sitemap. We have a really complicated sitemap system, so I'll use 2men as an example instead. So you just go to your sitemap, and let's say you want your collections. You want to Control-A to highlight everything. Let me just show that again. So let's say you want your collections, you highlight this particular link and then do paste. This is the same on WordPress as well. And then you want to open a new Google Sheet and paste all of that in. You might not be able to see it if you're on dark mode because it's white, so just make it black. Right click here, sort Z to A, and then just scroll down until you get to where it says lock. And then scroll down again like this and copy them all. And now you have a unclean list of internal links. Do Control-F, click these three dots, do find, do lock, like that. 2men.it. You do not need this part of the internal link because you can just use a relative link. So press replace all, and then we'll do /lock, and then replace all. That removes all of the unwanted formatting to the internal links. I don't have to do that because I've already done this a million times. I just wanted to show how that worked. Now we have the complete prompt. Let's take this inside Playground, and we'll also take this into ChatGPT-4, and we'll see which one works and which one doesn't. I've been experimenting with putting temperature much lower and then obviously maximum length as high as possible. We actually don't have the keyword here, so we'll have to grab this right here. Okay, we need to change the title to the GQ article, so graduation outfits men. Let's just find the GQ one again. There it is. So this is specifically about suits. Yeah, which I guess is fine. It's not really what I wanted to write about though. Okay, for now we'll just rock with this because I don't want to have to find a whole nother article. We'll just write an article about best graduation suits. It's fine. It's a decent topic for us. We sell suits, obviously. So where it says title, we just need to replace that with the title. And then there should actually be a section for focus keyword as well, which it doesn't have. So I'll just add that quickly. Under where it says title, I'm going to put focus keyword, and we'll just copy this focus keyword. Okay, now we'll retake the prompt and we'll put it here, and we'll say write part 1, and then we'll submit that. And then just because I'm curious, I want to know how 3.5 inside the UI handles this. So we will, I think we just have to press enter here. I'm very curious to see if this will do internal links. It looks like it's not doing internal links at all. Yeah, so 3.5 as usual just is not handling it as I need it to. Also look at the size of that title. Okay, so we'll try ChatGPT 4 while we're here, while we're waiting for the other ChatGPT 4 to finish. Let's see if this can handle the request. Okay, so as usual, the UI is not working properly for me, whereas the playground is working perfectly. So what we do here is we say write part 2, and then we press submit again. You can see it's literally perfect compared to this, which is just a complete and utter mess. I personally do not like the ChatGPT UI whatsoever. I much prefer the playground. I'm just trying to play with this a little bit while I'm waiting for ChatGPT-4 API to finish writing. And I'm really trying to get it to do this properly, but it just doesn't seem to want to work. This one looks like it might be. The problem is, though, is that it's just not writing long enough content. It's really slowing down with the content. Also, it's often talking about brands that don't sell certain things. These ones are messed up. Honestly, it's a mess. Let's just go back to this nice content here. Okay, so it has decided to write a little bit shorter content, but I will tell you now that that's not a huge problem, especially considering the topic of the article. In order to post, what you want to do is you want to go to markdown2html.com. And just here, you want to do Control A and then Control V. And then here again, do Control A, Control C, press enter twice, Control V. And then, yeah, that's pretty much all you need. You might be tempted to just copy and paste this immediately into WordPress or Shopify, but that would be wrong. What you actually want to do is you want to click on raw HTML. The reason is that these links become messed up because they attribute the links to this website. So what you actually want to do is raw HTML, and then this will copy and paste directly into WordPress and also Shopify. Let's see how many words this created. Remember, this is a kind of like a listicle article. This isn't really some kind of content that needs a huge amount of words. So anything kind of hovering around 600 would be fine for this kind of thing. But what I really love about this is that it handled the assignment perfectly. So instead of just using the brands that you can see here, which is what the ChatGPT UI was doing, it actually just used my brands, which is exactly what I need. The final thing I want to test while we're here is whether it works in GPT 3.5 Turbo. So write the intro and the first 3 paragraphs. Let's see if this works. I'm really curious. Oh, obviously that's not going to work already because it's too long. So it's probably not going to work at all because the prompt is just too long. You'd have to cut down on the amount of internal links. It's not even doing HTML. Okay. So basically, the long and short of it is that unless you're doing something very specific, like using a stun spot prompt, GPT 3.5 cannot handle these complex prompts. And in my experience, these complex prompts give you the best output. Now, let's talk about something. Before we finish, I want to quickly talk about my experiment. I am currently experimenting with a pretty insane prompt. Let's just find it. It's here. It's the copy of the two men prompt. So what is this? This is very similar. However, it's got extra information. It has the avatar, which is the person that we are selling it to. Your tone should match the needs of the avatar. Do not mention the avatar. Use the company details to guide your article. So let's have a look at what the avatar is. Avatar, what I like to do is, I read this yesterday on OpenAI's website. If you put things in XML like this, so opening tag, closing tag, ChatGPT understands it pretty well. So male or females looking to buy their husband's gifts, into luxury items, yachts, luxury lifestyle, classic menswear. Works as a lawyer, banker, tech, or other white-collar professions. Earns between 100K to 1 million a year. Is not the boss of all bosses, but is high up in the company. Is very particular in their style choices and prefers Italian suits. Company details. We are a classic menswear multi-brand company. We sell brands such as Kiton, Cesare Tellini, Brunello Cucinelli, and other Italian tailoring houses, more specifically Neapolitan-style suits. We have a close relationship with these companies, which has been cultivated over many years of working closely together. Two Men's Clothes are closely selected from a large group of the best brands in the world. We mainly specialize in more sportive brands, such as Santoni, Premiata, and KNT. We have some of the most competitive prices in the world. But it becomes even more interesting in just a second. When you mention a brand or brand plus product, this should say, make sure to embed the relevant embeds. So I did show this a long time ago. However, I've worked out a way to save myself an absolute metric ton of tokens. All ChatGPT needs is this ID and the title of the collection. This is very Shopify specific. However, you will be able to work this out on WordPress as well. It's just you'll have to work it out for yourselves because I'm on Shopify, not on WordPress. But basically, all you do is you get one Hura collection embed like this. This is a plugin, and this is the code that the plugin creates. And then you just list all of your collections and their unique IDs. That will now create content for you that is so specific. It's actually beautiful. So I created a couple of articles using this method today. They're already on Google, and I'm extremely excited to see how they work out. So what is the point of these embeds, you might be asking yourselves? The point of these embeds is to have unique media. I cannot stress the importance of this enough. Look at this GQ article. They are an affiliate website. None of these photos are theirs. However, this combination of photos in Google's eyes is unique media because they are using different websites, different photos from different websites, different brands, all that good stuff to create something that is truly at the end unique. So instead of rehashing the same old content and always using Amazon, etc., try to branch out a little bit and try to get more unique content. You can do everything I've shown you in this video if you are an affiliate website as well. This is not specific to e-commerce SEO. The final thing I want to mention is I just made a little list of ChatGPT SEO best practices. It's best to keep titles short. ChatGPT always makes titles that are way too long. Just shorten them. Just delete half of it, okay? It's really, really important. It's best to keep URLs as short as possible. What I like to do is just focus keyword. That's the URL right there. So men's graduation suits for this article. It's best to give images alt text. You should be doing that anyway. The reason that Google likes this, by the way, is it's for disability. So anyone with disabilities, they can't necessarily see the image. So the alt text is there to describe the image to them. So if you're not doing it, you're working against people with disabilities, which obviously for Google is a very negative sign. So you need to have alt texts. You can stop ChatGPT if it's going crazy and then correct it in real time. Just press stop generating and then say something like, no, not like that, do it like this instead. Experiment. This is so important. I should have put this last, to be honest with you. My videos are a baseline. This is what works for me right now. However, this is not what's going to be working forever, or this might not be what works for you. Take what I'm giving you and use it to create something for yourselves. That's why I made this video specifically to show you how I prompt engineer. I still don't like the word prompt engineer, but that's kind of what it is. Finally, make sure you're verified on Search Console, make sure you have Google Analytics set up, and then always submit new blog posts to Search Console. I don't personally have to do this on 2Men anymore because they get automatically accepted. However, if you're a new website and you want to see traffic, this is a great way to do it. The best way to submit to Search Console is first to live test the page Wait until it's all green and says good, and then press submit. You should be indexed within a few hours. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this guide was helpful, and I'll see you very, very soon with some more content. Peace out.